BTS Day 2 concert at Rogers Stadium in Toronto reportedly delivered another unforgettable moment when Taehyung and Jungkook performed the choreography for Swim together. As the stadium erupted with cheers, the two members appeared completely in sync, turning the performance into one of the most talked about moments of the night. Their confident movements, expressive gestures, and effortless coordination immediately captured the attention of fans. What made the performance even more captivating was the seemingly natural chemistry between Taehyung and Jungkook. During the choreography, their movements appeared closely connected, creating an intimate and playful atmosphere on stage. Every glance, gesture, and perfectly timed step seemed to add another layer to the performance, leaving Toronto armies watching the two closely. The moment reportedly caught the attention of the other BTS members as well. Their reactions suggested that even the members themselves were impressed by how naturally Taehyung and Jungkook handled the choreography. For a brief moment, the focus seemed to shift from the massive production surrounding them to the undeniable connection between the two performers. The atmosphere inside Rogers Stadium became even more intense as fans reacted loudly to their interactions. What began as a choreographed performance quickly felt like a special stage moment, with Taehyung and Jungkook appearing comfortable enough to play into the energy of the crowd. Their chemistry gave Swim a distinctly memorable flavor that fans are likely to replay long after the concert ends. Still, the biggest question is what made the other members react so strongly to the performance. Was it simply the precision of Taehyung and Jungkook's choreography, or did their unexpected chemistry create a moment even BTS themselves did not anticipate? Whatever the answer, their Day 2 Swim performance in Toronto has certainly given ARMY another moment to analyze and remember. Before Swim began, BTS's Day 2 concert at Rogers Stadium in Toronto was reportedly filled with explosive energy. The crowd was singing, screaming, and reacting to every move on stage as the members delivered another high-powered performance. Everything felt fast, loud, and overwhelming until Taehyung and Jungkook stepped into the spotlight for the Swim choreography. The atmosphere appeared to change almost instantly. As Taehyung and Jungkook began moving through the choreography, fans seemed to shift their attention toward the two members. Their movements looked closely synchronized, while their expressions and timing created a chemistry that stood out against the massive production surrounding them. For a few moments, it felt as though the thousands of voices inside the stadium had one shared focus. What made the moment even more intriguing was the reaction from the other BTS members. Fans noticed that some of the members appeared to watch Taehyung and Jungkook closely, with smiles and amused expressions visible during the performance. Their reactions seemed to add another layer to the scene, making fans wonder whether they were simply enjoying the choreography or reacting to the unexpected chemistry between their bandmates. The contrast became even more noticeable as the performance continued. Moments earlier, the entire group had been surrounded by explosive concert energy, but now the spotlight seemed to belong almost entirely to Taehyung and Jungkook. Their controlled movements and playful expressions appeared to create a softer, more captivating atmosphere, while the reactions from the other members made the scene even more memorable for fans watching from the stadium and through fan-recorded clips. And then came the detail that made the moment even more intriguing. The members' reactions seemed to become part of the performance itself. Fans were not only watching Taehyung and Jungkook anymore, they were also watching the other members watching them. Whether it was surprise, amusement, or simply appreciation for the choreography, those fleeting expressions added another layer of mystery to the Toronto performance, leaving fans replaying the moment to see exactly what caught everyone's attention. As Taehyung and Jungkook moved through the Swim choreography, their chemistry appeared to become one of the most captivating details of the performance. Their movements seemed remarkably synchronized, with each step and transition matching the rhythm almost perfectly. At several points, the two appeared to anticipate each other's movements, creating a seamless flow that made the choreography feel effortless. Their eye contact added another layer to the performance, Rather than simply completing the choreography side by side, Taehyung and Jungkook appeared to exchange brief glances at key moments, followed by subtle changes in their expressions. Those small details, whether a smile, a playful look, or a perfectly timed reaction, seemed to make their stage chemistry even more noticeable to fans watching from the stadium. Timing also appeared to play a major role. When one member shifted his position or changed his expression, the other seemed to respond almost immediately, creating the impression that they were closely following each other throughout the routine. It was this combination of synchronized movement, eye contact, and expressive performance that made the swim moment feel especially dynamic. Toronto armies appeared to react instantly whenever the choreography reached its most eye-catching moments. Cheers reportedly grew louder, with screams rolling through Rogers Stadium as Taehyung and Jungkook interacted during the routine. The reaction seemed to intensify with every glance and synchronized movement, creating an atmosphere where even the smallest gesture could trigger another wave of noise from the crowd. By the end of the sequence, the energy inside the stadium had seemingly reached another level. Fans were not just watching the choreography, they were reacting to every detail between the two members, with the crowd roaring around them and Taehyung and Jungkook continuing to mirror each other's movements. The swim performance became a moment that Toronto armies were likely to remember long after the music stopped. For a brief moment during BTS's Day 2 concert at Rogers Stadium, the overwhelming energy of the stadium seemed to fade into the background. As Taehyung and Jungkook moved into a key part of the swim choreography, one particular sequence appeared to unfold almost in slow motion. Amid thousands of screaming fans and dazzling stage lights, their synchronized movement suddenly became the only thing that seemed to matter. The moment felt especially striking because of how quickly the atmosphere had changed. Just seconds earlier, the stage had been filled with movement, music, and explosive energy. Then Taehyung and Jungkook appeared to lock into the choreography together, matching their timing and expressions so closely that the sequence seemed to stretch out. A brief glance and subtle reaction suddenly felt far more significant than it might have in the middle of such a massive concert. But the attention did not remain solely on Taehyung and Jungkook. When the camera suddenly shifted toward the other BTS members, their reactions became just as intriguing as the performance itself. Fans appeared to notice smiles, laughter, and focused expressions as the members watched what was happening on stage. Those fleeting reactions added an unexpected layer to the scene. The crowd seemed to respond at exactly the moments when the chemistry between Taehyung and Jungkook became most noticeable. Cheers grew louder, creating a wall of sound throughout Rogers Stadium. Yet in the middle of all that noise, the camera captured another fascinating detail. The other members appeared to be following the performance closely, almost as if they too were waiting to see what would happen next. That is what made the sequence so memorable. It was not simply about the choreography itself, but about everything happening around it. The synchronized movements, the brief eye contact, the roaring Toronto army, and the unexpected reactions captured by the camera. And when those reactions appeared on screen, fans suddenly had another question to focus on. What exactly had caught the other members' attention? At the beginning of the swim choreography, there was nothing that immediately suggested the performance would become one of the most talked about moments of BTS's Day 2 concert in Toronto. Taehyung and Jungkook simply moved into position and began following the choreography, matching the rhythm with impressive precision. Their movements appeared naturally synchronized, with each transition landing almost perfectly alongside the other. As the routine continued, however, fans began noticing the smaller details. Taehyung and Jungkook appeared to pay close attention to each other's timing, adjusting their movements almost instinctively. A turn from one seemed to be followed by a matching movement from the other, while brief glances and subtle expressions added another layer to the performance, without taking anything away from the choreography itself. Then the chemistry seemed to become increasingly noticeable. Their synchronization was no longer the only thing catching attention. Their expressions, eye contact, and reactions appeared to create a playful rhythm of their own. The longer the sequence continued, the more it seemed as though Taehyung and Jungkook were completely comfortable performing alongside each other, allowing the choreography to develop naturally in front of thousands of fans. That was when the reactions from the other BTS members became particularly interesting. When the camera appeared to capture them watching the performance, fans noticed smiles, laughter, and focused expressions. Of course, those reactions could simply have been their enjoyment of the stage, but their timing made the moment feel even more intriguing. Suddenly, fans were watching not only Taehyung and Jungkook, but also how the rest of BTS appeared to respond to them. The atmosphere inside Rogers Stadium then seemed to escalate. As the choreography reached more noticeable moments, Toronto armies erupted with louder screams and cheers. The sound appeared to build with every synchronized movement, creating a feedback loop between the performers and the audience. What had started as another part of the concert suddenly felt like a moment everyone in the stadium was paying attention to. By this point, the performance had developed from simple synchronization into something far more captivating. Taehyung and Jungkook continued to follow the choreography with precise timing while exchanging expressions and glances that fans could easily notice. Around them, the reactions of the other members and the increasingly loud crowd made the entire sequence feel bigger than the choreography itself. But the most intriguing part came seconds later, when the camera turned away from Taehyung and Jungkook and appeared to capture a reaction from the other BTS members that immediately caught fans' attention. Was it simply amusement at their bandmates' performance? Or had they noticed something in that moment that the audience had missed? That brief reaction may have been only a few seconds long, but it gave Toronto armies an entirely new detail to replay and analyze.